Hello guys, good evening. You are welcome in the zoology class organized by Society of Technology and Jan Vikas Mahasabha, the episode number 121B, English medium. The topic is endocrine thyroid. Thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland of our body. It is present on the two sides of the trachea, and there are two lobes. The two lobes are connected by a small band called isthmus. When we cut a transverse section of this thyroid, we get many very small tiny globules which are called follicles. Its hormone is called thyroxine, which is tetraiodotyrosine. It means in the tyrosine amino acid, 4 atoms of iodine are added. Triiodotyrosine, in which there are 3 iodine atoms, is also effective like thyroxine. So it accumulates the 90% of iodine accumulated in our body from food, and in 3 different group of animals there are 3 different functions. For example, as we see in protochordates. In protochordates, on the floor of pharynx there is a structure endostyle which has some ciliated cells which vibrate for rotating the mucus-laden food into epipharyngeal groove. But it has been found that this endostyle, similar to thyroid gland, accumulates radioactive iodine. Whether it has some thyroid-like functions or not, it is not known. It has yet to be discovered. In case of cold-blooded animals, fishes, amphibians and reptiles, the thyroid hormone, thyroxine hormone, is essential for metamorphosis of a tadpole larva into adult. So if there is under secretion of thyroxine, the metamorphosis is delayed. So what happens? A very big fish-like animal results along with tail, and if there is much more secretion of thyroxine hormone, what will happen to a tadpole larva? The tadpole larva will change into adult, but a housefly sized adult frog will be formed. And there is neoteny and pedogenesis in amphibians during deficiency of thyroxine. Neoteny is retention of a larval character in an adult, whereas pedogenesis is if in larval stage itself sex organs develop and it starts multiplying, then it is called pedogenesis. In warm-blooded animals, birds and mammals, the thyroxine hormone controls BMR, or basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate means when the animal is taking rest, its metabolic rate is called basal metabolic rate. And the thyroxine hormone also controls development of brain, development of sex organs, and carbohydrate metabolism. The thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland of our body, and it has one more peculiarity, that thyroxine is the only hormone which is stored, accumulated. All other hormones are just manufactured before the action. Now, underactivity and overactivity of thyroid both results into an enlargement, which is called goiter. You can ask how. It is very interesting. It is due to the feedback. Let us see how. Now you can see here, thyroid gland is present on the two sides of the trachea, attached by an isthmus. It is interesting to note that the structure of thyroid follicles varies during underactivity and overactivity. When thyroid gland is less active, the storage form colloid is much more and the cells are small. When the thyroid gland is active, the storage form colloid is less and the cells are large with a developed Golgi body. Underactivity of thyroid, if it is in childhood, it develops into cretinism. Cretinism is also a type of dwarfism. But in pituitary dwarfism, a dwarf is there, but development of brain and sex organs is normal. But in case of cretinism, during underactivity of thyroid, a dwarf is mentally retarded, sex organs are also not fully developed. If there is underactivity in adult, it leads into myxedema. Overactivity of thyroid gland results into exophthalmic goiter. A very interesting thing is that the hypothalamus part of the brain secretes a hormone, TSH-RH, thyroid stimulating hormone, releasing hormone. It stimulates anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary releases TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone, which stimulates thyroid gland, and then thyroid gland secretes thyroxine or T4. Now, if the T4 level is normal, it's all right. If there is a low level of thyroxine in the blood, it switches on the hypothalamus. Now hypothalamus will stimulate anterior pituitary and anterior pituitary will stimulate thyroid gland to secrete much more thyroxine. On the other hand, if there is normal level or above normal level of thyroxine, it switches off the hypothalamus. So no more stimulation from hypothalamus and anterior pituitary will take place. So this is called negative feedback. Whenever amount of a substance itself keeps a control on its own source of production, then it is called feedback. Feedback may be positive feedback or negative feedback. It is an example of negative feedback. So let us see what happens due to this negative feedback. There are two situations. In one situation, in the places of foothills, along with rainwater, the topsoil having the nutritive material is washed away. A deficiency of iodine takes place in the soil, in the plants, and in the drinking water. Iodine, you know, it is violet colored and it is found in certain selected food items, for example brinjal and then sugar beet, a small amount in onion also. So it is the iodine containing food material is necessary for thyroxine formation. So what happens in the foothill places when iodine containing soil and drinking water is washed away, less T4 is formed, less T4 switches on the hypothalamus, and then what will happen? It will secrete more TSH-RH. TSH-RH will stimulate anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary will release much more TSH. It will stimulate the thyroid gland to form more thyroxine, but there is no iodine. So what happens? Now, in this condition, the thyroid gland gets irritated, and for compensating the deficiency of iodine, it develops two processes, hypertrophy and hyperplasia. In hypertrophy, the cells are enlarged. In hyperplasia, the cells get divided, 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8. So as a result of these two things, hypertrophy and hyperplasia, the thyroid gland becomes enlarged. This condition is called endemic goiter. So endemic goiter can be corrected by giving iodized salt. either sodium iodide or potassium iodide. Now let us see the other condition. Suppose sufficient amount of iodine is available in the food and drinking water, and there is overactivity or some cancerous activity in either hypothalamus or anterior pituitary or in the thyroid itself. So what will happen? Hypothalamus will release more TSH-RH, and due to its stimulation, anterior pituitary will release more TSH and it will stimulate thyroid gland. Well, much iodine is there, so much thyroxine will be formed. And due to this stimulation, here also a hypertrophy in which the cells get enlarged, a hyperplasia in which the cells get divided takes place, and again a goiter develops. So in this goiter, the eyes bulge out. That is why it is called exophthalmic goiter. There is an interesting thing that in endemic goiter, activity is slow, there is a weight gain. In this goiter, the animal is in very haste and heartbeat is increased, respiratory rate is increased, there is a loss of weight. So due to this, these symptoms, a doctor can identify that whether it is an endemic goiter or exophthalmic goiter. Exophthalmic goiter can be corrected by giving anti-thyroid drugs. Iodide salt will become toxic or fatal for this condition. So either radioactive iodine can be given, it will accumulate in the thyroid cells, and due to its radiation some thyroid cells will be killed. Otherwise, surgically some part of thyroid gland can be cut and removed, but as thyroid gland is very vascular, blood supply is too much, its operation is difficult. So the best choice is that in this condition, hyperactivity, doctors give anti-thyroid drugs, sulfur drugs, thiourea, thiouracil, propyl thiouracil. So this way, thyroid gland is the largest endocrine gland and the most important gland after pituitary and adrenal in our body. Thank you very much.